Full gear.
And that lets you save.
Look here.
True Form Life.
Green look on it.
Welcome to another episode of Exploring Mind and Body. I'm your host, True Form's Drew Tadia, fitness expert. Today we got a fantastic show planned for you. We have part 2 of Leslie Winfield's interview with myself. We have part 1, that's going to be the top 4 of Rockin' Rick's Ugly 8. These are going to be the top food ingredients to avoid. And we got a bunch more planned for you tonight. Coming up on...
This is Exploring Mind and Body with True Form's Drew Tadia, fitness expert on 96.5 CKFM.
All right, here's part 2 of the interview with myself and Leslie Winfield, who's going through a health and fitness journey that we're following along with.
Time now for real people, real results.
Probably should have started off with this number, but why don't you tell us what you're at right now?
Weight?
Yeah.
194.
And how many? What's your number that you've lost up to this
I
point?
started at 215, so I've lost 22 pounds.
All
I don't know
right.
if that adds up, but yeah. 22 pounds is what I've lost so far. So it's absolutely awesome. 4 months, 22 pounds, and
Fantastic.
still very motivated to keep going. I have had times in my life where I've had quote unquote diets that I've tried, and I have lost. I think the most I've ever lost before is 30 pounds. So I had lost it, and then you just gain it all back because it's not a lifestyle change. And the difference between previous diets, I think, and what I'm doing now and what I've decided to do now is that I don't think of this as a diet. I think of this as a complete change in how I view life and how I view what I'm doing. So what I'm doing is more every day consciously trying to make better choices, as Drew always tells me to do.
Okay. Can we talk about support at home? Like when I deal with members or individual clients, I see a significant difference with support at home and people that don't. And it's clear with the results that people have support or they don't.
Yeah. I have a very supportive partner at home. He's wonderful. I guess advice out there for those husbands that are at home that are like, oh, I can't tell my wife that she can't have that chocolate. She wants you to tell her to not have it. So for me, it's been great because he knows what I want to do and he's really supportive about it. And so he will, if I'm borderline going to make a wrong decision, he'll say, do you really want to have that? For example, I'll give an example. Valentine's Day, we went out for a nice dinner and I made some great choices at dinner. And then afterwards, I was just like, oh, I really would love to just stop at Dairy Queen and get a Blizzard or something like that. So his response was, well, why don't we wait? Because we were in Red Deer. Why don't we wait till we get back to Olds? If you still want it, sure, we'll go out. Sure enough, when I got back to Olds, I didn't really want it. So things like that are great support, but at the same time, there's also people in your life, and Drew and I have talked about this before too, that are like, oh, don't worry about it, you're on vacation, or don't worry about it, you're doing so well, you deserve a treat, here, have this. Or they'll bring something home and you've been doing so good, here, I thought you could have this, and that's not really supportive. So the other advice is just know what that person is trying to do in their life and don't put those temptations in front of them.
That's great advice. Thanks for that. I think that'll help so many people. You want to talk about any goals that you want to share with us?
Sure. My goal right now is it's hard to come up with goals. We've had you and I have had some good conversations about how to set those goals and where do you start from. So of course, the first thing you always start with is, well, what does the body mass index say that I should weigh? And so we had a good conversation about that. And I actually think the body mass index thinks it's going to make me too skinny. So I don't want to be that skinny. So I've set my goal at 135. And so I have, I think, about 70 pounds to go right now. So it's still a long ways to go, but 22 off of that. So that's great. And so 135, I'd like to be at around, 10 to 15% body fat. That's what is healthy, I think.
We'll talk about that one.
We'll talk about that one. Okay. Thanks, Drew. And yeah, so those are kind of my major goals. As far as I want, I guess we've talked about clothes, and I love shopping just like any other girl. And so I want to be able to go to whatever store I want to and pick something off the rack because they'll have my size. Right now, it's like you have to shop at the specialty stores that carry the plus sizes because that's what they have. And even just getting down into the larges and extra larges opens up the variety of things. And so at the very least, I just want to be able to go to whatever store I find something cute in and buy it if I have the means at that time.
Okay. So we're doing something together, something that I've never done before and something that you've never done before either. So we're going to monitor your journey together. We're going to work together. I'm going to offer suggestions. You're going to work hard. You're going to take my suggestions. And we're going to work together. There's going to be some ups and downs. We might get into a few disagreements, but I'm really confident that in the end, we're going to reach our goals. Will you tell us a little bit about that, blogging, your journey, and maybe your decision to make this public? Because it's a big step. It's a big step for me, and I'm not the one doing it. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So when you approached me and asked me, hey, do you want to kind of do this publicly? And I think this would be great. I was like, what? You want me to do what? You want everyone in town to know how much I weigh and what I'm doing and all that kind of stuff? And I was like, oh, I don't know. But after 5 minutes of thought, I was like, okay, you can follow me. No, it was a little bit harder than that. But I do see the benefits in, I guess, helping other people through a journey as well. And I'm calling it kind of the healthy me journey, journey to a healthier me, because it's about more than losing weight. It's about being healthy. It's about making the right choices. And we've talked a lot about mind as well. And I think my blog post for this week is going to be just a little prequel for you. It's going to be about some stuff about self-esteem in the mind and balance. So look forward to that. But if you go to the website, trueformlife.com, you can click on under success stories and go to the Follow Leslie page. I will have a weekly blog at least once a week. Sometimes some weeks I may post more than that if I'm feeling something that I want to share that I think would be beneficial to anybody that's following. And then I'm also committed to doing at least once a week a video blog on YouTube, which will be linked on the website as well. So you can follow me at either of those places. And just kind of, I welcome suggestions. I welcome comments. I welcome constructive criticism, anything you guys have. Also, if you have questions for me, things that you think, hey, tell me a little bit more about that, I would definitely answer them.
Okay, yeah, that's something I think it's great for. It's going to be a fantastic story in the end. I know it is, and for people to be able to follow along and be a part of that journey, I think that's important for everyone to, from my standpoint, to see what someone goes through. I've been an athlete my whole life. I've never really struggled with motivation. I guess I've been very fortunate in that aspect. So to go along with someone and be there to support them, that's going to be important to me, and I appreciate you letting me do that. And I look forward to the blogs every week. Like I want to know what you're up to, and I want to know what you're thinking about and what you're eating. So I think that's important for other people to know that too. So again, we encourage suggestions and comments and people just coming together and supporting this. And lastly, do you want to have a message? Like, do you have anything to say to anyone? Like, you're doing so well on your you're doing so well right now where you're at, but we do have a journey. We're just starting, really. Mm-hmm. And for anyone listening or someone that wants to be involved in an exercise program or change their life for the better, do you have anything to say to them?
Absolutely. I think the biggest thing, and I've talked to some people about just what I've been doing since we've started this, and people keep saying, oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I just don't have the time to do that. And I think the biggest thing is just take that step. People are so scared. I was scared going to my first True Form class, and it doesn't have to be True Form. Like, I know I'll put a plug in. It should be True Form because he's awesome. But it doesn't have to be True Form. It's about making that choice to have some active living and try and eat better. But you have to just take that step. And so I was terrified to go to the first. I was like, oh, I don't know. Everyone's going to be at a different stage. But it's not about keeping up with everybody else. It's about making those changes in yourself and keeping up with yourself and improving on yourself every time. And, you know, back to a plug for True Form, that's the great thing about True Form is that because we're all a family, it doesn't feel like you have to compete or that someone's better than you. So I guess the biggest thing I would say is just do it. Isn't that a Nike ad?
All right. Thanks for the interview and for letting us do this with you. Come along for the ride. It's going to be exciting. I'm really excited about it. So Leslie's going to be with us. We're going to come back and interview her again. We're going to do this together. We're going to work together. Leslie's going to be vocal in public. You'll be able to find her on trueformlife.com, Trueform Facebook page, and she has her own links also. You want to?
Sure. Well, if you want to follow my personal Twitter feed, I'll be posting stuff on that. I'm Library Goddess 2. Don't laugh. I am the Library Goddess. Fully embraced. I'm also same username on YouTube. So Library Goddess 2 on YouTube.
All right. So check it out. Thanks, Leslie, for joining us. And we'll see you at class.
That was Real People, Real Results. Now, back to the show.
All right, this segment's brought to you by Rockin' Rick from Health Street. He's the Health Street owner. He's partnered with me with our True Health Matters. We have True Health Matters show. We post up there on YouTube. That's on our Facebook pages and my website, trueformlife.com. And he's a holistic nutritionist who's threw together the Ugly 8. So I'm going to read off these for you. And it's really about what's in food. And I talk about that quite often. And we really should know what's in our food and what we're eating, what we're putting in our bodies. So Rick's listed 8 ingredients we want to stay away from. So I'm going to run through those right now. The first one is refined sugar. What is it? This is a highly processed sugar extracted from sugar cane or beets. And we want to avoid it because these sugars raise your insulin levels. And as a result, that can depress the immune system and weaken your ability to fight disease. Some alternatives to refined white sugar is unpasteurized raw honey. And I personally use agave. And then there's blackstrap molasses. We're moving on to artificial sweeteners, which is aspartame, saccharin, sucralose. And I'm going to tell you what these are. Aspartame is an artificial sweetener, also known as NutraSweet or Equal. There are more reports to the FDA and Health Canada for aspartame reactions than almost all other foods and additives combined. These are not natural for us to digest. We're going to want to avoid them because they cause imbalances to the metabolism and energy levels. They're linked to headaches, dizziness, and even hallucinations, if you could imagine. And further, there's strong evidence that these are toxic and may cause cancer, as well as other diseases. Alternatives to artificial sweeteners is stevia. I personally use honey or, again, agave. Next, we're running into bleached white flour. Oh my. Bleached white flour is in everything. This is flour that remains after the bleaching and refining process. The ingredients should not be considered a food. It's used to make white bread, many crackers, and cereals. So look out for this stuff. You want to avoid it. And why? Is because bleaching and processing removes most of the nutrients and fiber from the flour. As a result, the products end up having mostly empty calories, providing no nutritional value to your diet. So that's important. Like lots of people are eating white bread and they want to know why. I mean, there's nothing nutritional to it. We need to stay away from these kind of foods that add nothing to our diet. There's no point in eating them. So a solution to avoiding bleached white flour is choose wheat or grain-based products. Consume those that have whole grains or unbleached flour. And Rick's pick is choose whole grain sprouted bread. Let's move on to hydrogenated, partially hydrogenated, and trans fats. Hydrogenation is used to solidify an oil, preserve it, and to increase the melting point so it can be used more easily industrially. These man-made products are toxic to the body. We want to avoid it because these unhealthy fats contribute to coronary heart disease, obesity, and cancer. Some alternatives instead of corn oil, canola oil, and soybean oil